What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm Gustavo, and today I'm just going to talk to you about my everyday life, about why I got out of the Hotshot business, and what I'm doing right now to get myself back up on my feet. I make this video to chronicle, do a video vlog of failing a business, starting over, and just what I do and just how my story unfolds. I think there's a lot that people can learn from in my experience. I didn't just do transportation, I also managed restaurants in my career. I do real estate development, real estate management, but it is hard when you start a business and you find yourself that there are certain obstacles that are outside of your control that affect it and ultimately affects the life of your employees and your life as well. So today you're gonna see me what I do in my day, normal day, and what I'm doing to get myself back to where I need to be. So I actually gotta go cut some grass because it needs to be done, and just another day in my life, and let's see how it goes, and I'll talk a little more of my story. So I have about a week with this truck. It is a Ram 1500. It is a 2022 Rebel Edition. I bought it after I had to trade in both of my Hotshot trucks. I'm actually very happy with the purchase. I did a video. My first video was a review on my 2022 Ram 1500, and like I've said, I'm very happy with the purchase. So give me a minute, I'm gonna hook up my utility trailer and we'll get ready and going. Cross the chains here. Make sure they're locked in place. Okay. My 4-way pin. Most of you guys could ask, why didn't you keep the 3500 or the F350? But the truth of the matter is that once my business shut down, I had to scale down. So I had to consolidate my debt, and I ended up getting this truck. That's my dad's truck. Unfortunately, he's in the hospital right now, but we move on. Let's start making our way. So this video, it's to introduce myself. I'm Gustavo. I'm in the south side of Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going to talk about what I used to do. I used to be in the hotshot trucking industry. I had 2 trucks and 2 trailers, and for a time, although it seemed like it was going well, ultimately I ended up failing in my business venture. Now, don't get me wrong, the trucking industry, it's a good industry. I think you can make a lot of money in it. Unfortunately, I did not have the luck in which to succeed in it. There was a lot of factors that can either make you or break you in this industry. Drivers are a big factor. Fuel cost, insurance cost is another big one. The rates, whether they're going up or they're going down, the areas that you service. I mean, there's just so many things that affect your bottom line that, affect your business. And, that's why I'm here. Even though I wasn't successful in my business venture, I don't believe that I'm going to be stuck not being successful in anything else that I do. I just want to create this video to show people that with perseverance and hard work and a little bit of luck, you can be successful. Now, how you measure success, it's up to each individual out there. But in my case, we'll see what life brings and how I accommodate to it and what I do to reach success as to how I see it fit. Anyways, back to the hotshot industry. So I started my business last year in 2021 in April. I had 2 trucks and 2 trailers. I had a 2021 Ford F350, a Lariat version, and I had a 2021 Ram 3500 Laramie model. They were both full 4 doors. And the reason I bought a Ford and then a Ram was because you get different points of views from people when you get into any sort of industry. They tell you, yeah, go with Ford because of the 10-speed, or go with the Ram because the Cummins motor. Ultimately, it's just how your people treat your equipment. Personally, of course, I'm gonna take care of my stuff because it's mine. I'm the one paying the car notes. I'm the one that has to pay the insurance and everything. But then you have drivers who just, to be honest with you, they just don't give a shit about your equipment. You know, they don't care about if it's got any coolant. They don't care if anything's damaged. They don't care about the wear and tear of your tires. They like to go 80 miles an hour down the road, even though you tell them don't go down 80. You should be driving no more than 70. You know, because ultimately when you're loaded, you're carrying a lot of weight. Anyways, back to my equipment. I also had 2 40-foot trailers. Now, we were a CDL operation. You know, we had our IFTA permits, our fuel tax agreements, we had our apportion tags, the ELDs. We were a regional service, so we would work the Southeast, anywhere, Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Then we also service the Minnesota area, Wisconsin, Illinois. We were servicing the Northeast, which wasn't as fun or as good as the other ones, but it's still, we made good money going out there to New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. We did military loads, we did direct shippers. I mean, we really, in the year and a half that I was in business, we were really doing well. But there were 2 things that were really, well, 3 things that were really affecting me. Fuel prices, don't even worry about them. You know, whether they're up or down, people are gonna need their items shipped. It is up to you as a business owner, as the owner-operator, to know what your equipment uses and how much you can expect to spend per load. And according to that, you should negotiate your prices. Number 2, your insurance costs. Now, insurance costs ultimately is like the biggest factor that's going to affect you. As I started in the business, the only company that would insure me was Progressive. Yeah, you're going to receive mixed reviews about Progressive, whether good or bad. To me, they weren't that good. When I started, they were charging me $4,000 a month for 1 truck. Then when I added the second one, we went up to $6,000. You know, when I added the second truck and the second trailer, I added another driver, which I met when I was in my CDL school training, getting my CDL. And he had a good driving record, so it didn't affect my insurance cost at all. When I added my third driver for me to come off the road, because it was hard for me to book my driver's loads and my loads at the same time, so there was always a little bit of a time lag, which was affecting our week. You know, ultimately I was trying to run a business where I kept a home life balance for myself and for the driver. You know, if we would be out on a Monday, I would want them to try to be back at least between Friday and Saturday so they could do the reset at home. And if not at home, I want them to do the reset in Georgia and just finish the load out on Monday in Florida. So ultimately that was my plan. That was my form of movement in my business. It worked well, but you know, I think it's just impossible for anybody to be inside of a pickup truck. It doesn't matter if it's a crew, you know, the extended 4 doors or whatever, to be stuck in it 2 weeks and still lead a happy life or a balanced life. You know, I just don't think that's possible. there's, I'm not knocking it. A lot of people do it. I just think the sacrifice is too much. I think that if you work a little bit differently, you will receive the same amount of effort. If you try to run it in 2 weeks and you try to get your loads and go to areas where there's good shipments, then a week out should be sufficient. If you're out 2 weeks, then maybe you need to talk to your dispatcher and take you into different areas. Anyways, so as I continued the growth of my business, I added my second driver come January of this year, and that's another guy that I met at my driver school, and he was just a good guy. To this day, Walter, he was a good driver. He did right by me. My first driver, he ended up quitting a couple of weeks after my second driver joined because he felt overworked, he felt overstressed. He didn't like it. He didn't like doing the partials game, and ultimately he wanted to move up into a big rig because he just wanted more time. Now, that was his choice. I respect it. He did right by me too. So, except on that last load where he picked up everything and they just left it, told me the next day, hey, I'm having a mental day, I'm not gonna finish the load out at 2 o'clock, and they had to go up to New York, so I had to go out there myself. But that's neither here nor there. That's water under the bridge. So as I keep growing my business, I got the opportunity to hire owner-operators, which I hired my first owner-operator. His name was Jess. A good guy. I still talk to him. We're friends. He's out there, and thanks to Walter and Jess, I really perfected my booking game, my dispatcher game. I used to book before $5,000 to $6,000 a week, but when I started working with Jess and Walter, I bumped my game up to $7,000 to $9,000 a week just out of Georgia, which is very doable, guys. If you're not reaching between $7,000 and $9,000 a week out of Georgia, then you need to talk to your dispatcher or give me a call and I'll get you set up. I started then, as you progress in business, the more you talk to the brokers or your shippers, the more people will give you a call, the more they want to work with you, as long as they know that you're securing the load properly, you're not being held up by DOT. Whatever the case is, a good business relationship between yourself and the broker is going to lead you to more money, more work, and it's going to help you to be a little bit happier than before. So build good relationships with the broker. Now, not every broker is a good one. There's a lot of double brokered loads out there. Believe me, I've encountered a lot of them. And to this day, thankfully I was able to get my money out of most of them. I didn't lose any money with double broker loads, but it is safe to say that I know of people that have lost a lot of money on double broker loads. But that's not the case here. So, watch out for all over freight. There's another one. Lizzie's World was one that was trying to cheat me out of $7,000 on the load. From what I was told, they were California-based brokers, and most of the times they don't want to talk to you over the phone. They just want to communicate via email. Personally, if I can't talk to the other person to get verifications or get to know them, I feel very uncomfortable. So I don't do business. Whatever the case, I just don't think that's going to work. So moving on. So my first driver left, and then I hired my 2 owner operators, and I was working. My first year with my policy with Progressive came to a renewal. And this is really where I should have known that shit hit the fan. Progressive sent me a renewal notice asking me for $19,700 a month for my renewal with my owner operators. So, of course, I was like, what the fuck? I can't pay that. So I reached out to my insurance agent, and they're like, oh, well, Progressive thinks you're growing too fast because you added 2 owner operators, you have 2 trucks, 2 trailers, and so they want you to scale back down. So I said, I don't think it's right that the insurance company wants to dictate how the business grows. I mean, I'm helping my owner operators make their money. Walter's getting paid good money, and of course, I got my expenses covered. Although I'm running into some maintenance issues while all this is going. I'm having wheel issues, axle issues with my trucks. I'm having one of my trucks. Well, so what happened? Let me rewind back. Walter, while doing one of his deliveries in Kentucky, went up a logger road and damaged one of my trailers. He hit it like a sunken tree trunk. And when he hit it, I guess the trailer jumped and it bit down on the side of the bed of my Ford truck. So I sent my truck to get repaired into the Ford dealership because, it's a 2021 F350. It's a Lariat model. Of course, I wanted to get fixed, and I wanted to get fixed right. And every body shop that I knew from before just didn't do a good enough job to have me satisfied to do this truck with. Mine just like a $77,000 truck. I don't want it looking like it's 50. So the Ford dealership takes about 3 months to fix my truck. Progressive gets me another trailer in a matter of weeks, which actually what had happened was that I had ordered a trailer from Texas Pride, and I really like them, and I ordered a straight deck 40-foot trailer, and it just came in right after the accident. So it was sort of like serendipity that the trailer was ready and I was down the trailer and I just had the money to buy it, which was serendipity again. So Walter was driving the Ram, he was driving the new trailers, and we were working. Everything was still moving. I was paying bills, but like I said, I was having issues with my maintenance. The Ram turned out to be a headache giver because I was going through tires just about every 8 weeks with the Ram, and then on top of that, I was having EGR issues from a load coming out of New Mexico into South Carolina. Then I was having fuel pump issues like immediately afterwards. So the truck kept going down, So I had to spend money fixing them, and then some of it was under warranty, under the $100,000 warranty. And then what really got me was that, so I fixed my fuel pump, I fixed the EGR, I added an auxiliary fuel tank, a 70-gallon auxiliary fuel tank to the Ram because they had a 26-gallon fuel tank standard from the factory. So, I thought I had got the truck Hotshot ready, and I figured, well, if I got through with the EGR and I got through with the fuel pump, I'm able to continue the process of working. So then the truck goes down again for fuel pump, and the Ram calls to tell me that because I added an auxiliary fuel pump, that what was going to happen was like I avoided my warranty on my truck, so now they wouldn't cover the fuel pump, and I had to spend $2,000 fixing it. It was like $2,400. Then I had to get brakes done on the Ram, which was $900 just to get the front ones done, and then it was like $2,000 to pay for the rear ones. And I was just bleeding money fixing the truck. Thankfully, along the way, my brother-in-law found out my struggles with the maintenance, and he's a body shop man, and he's a fabricator at the Air Force. So he says, hey, let me help you with the maintenance. I'm not looking for any money, thank goodness. He was helping me because we're family, but I really appreciate his help because he really helped me learn new things. He helped me take care of my trucks, and I'm forever going to be grateful with him. So, but if you guys check him out, he's a Rebel Fabrication. So, I was bleeding money on maintenance. So my Ford gets out of the shop, and so I get to switch trucks. So I take Walter out of the Ram into the Ford, back again, and the Ford has just been a beast. I have no complaints about that truck. And so I have no complaints about the Ford. And the Ram was the one that went into the shop then. So we're working and everything's going fine and everything's going well. And then my trailers, I'm having brake issues. Well, I didn't have brake issues with the trailer at that time. I had pulled the trailer out to check the brakes on it, and come to find out on the new trailer, the brakes were burned out. I guess I had like a short circuit somewhere, and it burned all the brake cables. Like all the magnets were just melted. I think we had the driver, Walter, must have had the brake settings set up too high, because the brakes were just burned up. The magnets were burned up, not the brakes. The brakes themselves were fine. It's just I had to switch the brakes. So I had to do the brakes myself. To buy 4 sets of brakes, the electric brakes for the 12,000 pound axles was $1,400. My brother-in-law and I spent a full day doing brake service, re-greasing and repacking the bearings and all that stuff. So we learned how to do that, and we took care of that. We fixed the trailer. Then the next thing that happened was that while we were working on the other trailer, the bearings on it go down. So I had to get it fixed. So I had it fixed, and that was a lot of money, especially when it happens over the road, Needless to say, maintenance was a big deal for me. And even though my brother-in-law and I were working on it, it was too much. We tried doing the oil change ourselves, but for as long as it took, and all the hassle of having to go buy filters, having to go buy, dispose of the oil and everything, I'd rather just go into like the quick lube, pay $130, get the oil changed, they change the filters for me, and just be done. I'll get done in 10 minutes tops. That's it. So that's what I was doing for my maintenance on that part. Fast forward a few times after the Progressive sends me that $19,000 a month notice, I start looking for insurance like literally immediately once they send me that bill. And come to find out, the only company that would insure me is called Byberg. So Byberg they quoted me $6,000 for just my 2 trucks. They didn't even want to half my owner-operators, which was fine. I talked to my owner-operators and I told them, hey, insurance doesn't want me to grow anymore. They said that having you guys right now is just not a good move for me right now, because it says I'm growing too fast. So I'm sorry. I let them know. I had to explain that unfortunately I just couldn't keep them. And I was upset because I'm working, although I'm not out here. I wasn't on the road working with my co-workers. I wasn't out there having my share of the hardships that it is to be on the road. I felt bad because these people depended on me. They were accustomed to earning $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a week, and they were taking care of all their equipment and everything was going well for them. They depended on me. So now they have to go out of the comfort that we have built working amongst each other, helping each other, that if one of my driver's trailers broke down in Kentucky, guess what? I picked up my truck, I went to Kentucky to pick up his trailer, finish the load, and you know what? And he knew that he could depend on me to go help him. And just like how I knew that if I needed help, he would come help me in the same path. So, switching your business styles or switching your business because somebody else is forcing you to is unfortunately a fact that it's hard to swallow, but you just have to keep pushing. So my employees had to go find other companies to go lease out under, and thankfully they found good ones which they're working on. So I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for all the help they've given me even after they stopped working with me. I can't ever repay how everybody was committed to making my dream, the chance that I took to get out there and start a business and grow and develop. I can never say thank you enough to the people that helped me. My brother-in-law, my employees, my owner-operators, especially my family that, I was on the road as well. So it's not like I was just sitting in a desk pushing pencils and making phone calls. My family was a big part of it because they didn't see me for a week at a time. They getting on the road sucks, because if you start in the morning, you have to load, unload. If there's traffic when you're going, you want to make as much headway as you can, because you don't want to start the next day and drive even more, just because you wouldn't drive just as much as you can the previous day. And then at the end of the day, whether you find enough parking spaces, because sometimes you can't find them, or if you're trying to find a parking space at the end of the day, but you have to go to the next stop or the next rest area, or if you're forced to get a hotel, you have DOT to worry about, because if you violate your hours, you could be put out of service for 10 hours the next day. I mean, you just don't want to have violations on your records. But my employees were good about finding spaces to sleep, getting hotels. I never had an infraction on violations of hours. We did solid work. We worked hard, but we did solid work. And I know for all the truckers out there, all the hard work you do sometimes goes unacknowledged, but just know that I am aware, and I am grateful for all the hard work you guys do. So fast forward, Walter and I are working. I hired a second driver come May of this year, and this other driver was from out of state, so he wasn't even from Georgia, but he was from Tennessee. He was moving out to Georgia, and he was too concerned about making money, not enough concerned about maintaining the equipment that helped him make the money. I guess I don't know what it was. He destroyed one of my trailers to begin with. I had to pay for repairs on the side of the road more times than I cared to think about. My Ram was literally ran into the ground. He hit a pothole or something where the trailer jumped and it bit down on the trailer, so the bed of the Ram was damaged, not just on the tailgate but also on the side body of the truck. Like if you jackknife too much and hit a pothole, it's hard to explain. He never mentioned anything like this to me. He didn't tell me that, hey, my tires are bald, I need some new tires pretty soon. The brakes, the truck was without any brakes. He was riding without any brakes. I mean, you could hear and you could feel the truck scrubbing the brakes when I drove it, at least when I picked it up. So I know it didn't have any brakes. The alignment was off. There was just a lot of things. He just did not care about the truck. And to make it worse, he was a smoker, so he was smoking inside the truck. And it just, I know the majority of the fault rests with me, because I didn't do a proper enough vetting before hiring a driver into my equipment, especially since it's such a high value equipment. But if you're a company driver, take care of the equipment that's given to you so you can make money. It's not just the company's responsibility to maintain it, it is also your responsibility to make sure that it works. And anytime you see a minor defect on it, call the company. Hey boss, guess what? I'm sorry to bother you, but I think we might need some brakes pretty soon. I feel them getting low. It's taking longer to brake or whatever. Make sure you engage your engine brake. Make sure you check your trailer brakes. I mean, people's lives are at stake here in the trucking industry. You can't just hurt yourself, you're gonna hurt somebody else. And if you're going up and down a mountain with we were carrying 18,000 pounds on a trailer, plus your truck, you're almost at 36,000 pounds. If your brakes fail, you're not just going off a mountain, you're gonna hurt somebody. So take note, take care of your equipment, learn from my mistakes. Make sure you vet the people you hire to work for you. And I learned a lot in this journey. Right now, I get a lot of people asking me, so what's your next step? What are you gonna do next? Right now, I'm just trying to gather all the pieces, trying to get myself to where I get organized. Cut everything off for the business. I had to cut off all the services I use. I had to cancel my ELD service, everything that I had. I just had to shut it down. I traded in both of my trucks so I could get the truck I'm in now, because I could not afford the monthly payment. I also had to get insurance, into a personal insurance rather than commercial insurance back down. So there's that. You know, there's just a lot of it that goes into opening a business. There's a lot that goes into shutting down a business as well. So, to say the least, you know, I have been working on shutting everything down, terminating all the relationships in the business that I've had. You know, I feel like I did everything I could within my power to stay in business, to keep my people afloat. I tried going to my direct customers, and I mean, it's crazy. You work all these times with all these folks, you know, hey, you know, do you have any local work? Do you have anything that goes around here? But trying to drum up direct work right around almost the end of the race is a bad move. Don't depend on load boards. Start drumming up direct shippers from the beginning. If this is your day one of hotshotting, please, if you take nothing else from this video, first customer, start drumming up direct customers. You know, if you go into a medium to small size shipper, give them your business card, give them your phone number, take about 5-10 minutes to talk to them. Let them know that you're a good guy, that you do good work, that you take care of everything, that you won't damage their loads, and build your direct work. I didn't have the time, or I didn't take the time. It's not that I didn't have it. I didn't take the time to build up my direct book of business. I depended on load boards, and that was my second biggest mistake. My first biggest mistake was not vetting the people that work for me. So don't make my mistake. Don't end up where I ended up. You know, do this for yourself. If trucking is something you want to do long term, then by all means, build your direct portfolio of business. Talk to the shippers. Don't be scared. These are regular people. You could probably charge more than what you're getting paid and still cost them less than going through a broker. And guess what? It's not going to cost you anything extra on your insurance. No, sir, it's not. So, I hope you guys find this information helpful. You know, if you guys have any questions or concerns, please hit the like button, subscribe, follow me on this journey, because on my next video, I'm going to show you what another normal day in my life is, and what I'm doing to get myself back up to be successful. You know, success is something that you chase and you build on. So, you know, don't let going out of business one time stop you from achieving your dreams. All right, guys, take care.